Tell them run it all.
What is going on? What is going on? Everybody in the house, what is going on? Wake up in Cleveland every single morning.
I wake up, flex, I'm down now. Check. No drip, this wet. Tell them run it all. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck. But first I stretch. Tell them run it all. I wake up, flex, thumb down now. Check. No drip, this wet. Tell them run it all. I wake up, flex, thumb down now. Check. No drip, this wet. Tell them run it all.
What is going on? What is going on? Wake up in Cleveland. What is going on this fine Wednesday afternoon? We are glad you could make it. This is the afternoon edition, as we always do. We are, make sure that we are in sync here. Yes, we are. Okay. Yeah, this is the afternoon edition. We've been doing Wednesdays at noon because, well, it's just an easier way to get people on that can't necessarily do the mornings. So we've pushed everybody down on Wednesdays. Mondays we do 9:30. Thursdays we do 9:30. Wednesdays we do 12 o'clock. So I am glad that everybody could be here today. This is going to be a special show. I think it's going to be a special show anyway. I can't guarantee that it's going to be a special show, but in reality, I think the things we're going to talk about today are things that need to be discussed. It's probably one of the most important things as DJs that we are facing right now. So this is definitely the stream you want to watch. I think you want to watch all the streams, but we have Mixcloud CEO Nico Perez on, and just in case you guys were wondering, we are streaming to Twitch, we are streaming to Mixcloud, and we are streaming to YouTube. So all three of those are being streamed, all the major platforms currently, which is nice. Looks like we have 2 people on Mixcloud with a total of 3 that have been there. So that's good to know. All right, before we go any further, what I want to do is I want to just turn on the YouTube stuff. It would be nice if they set up YouTube to where I didn't have to do this every single time, but that's just not reality here. So, let me know what you guys are doing on this fine morning. Let me know what you guys are doing on this, actually it's afternoon now, it's not even the morning. Let me know what you guys are doing. I have been up since the crack of dawn because my daughter goes to college at UC Santa Barbara. Not a big deal. It's like, I don't know, an hour 15 away from me. And she stayed home over the Thanksgiving break. And then she left Sunday night. And then she left some of her books. Can you turn the Twitch volume up? No. I think it's coming from your side. I think the Twitch sound is probably sounding fine. Let me know if the sound is okay on any of them. Let me know if the sound is good. Can everybody else hear me? Let me know if everybody else can hear me. Sound is fine. So Rico, I'm going to assume that that's coming from your side, pal. So maybe check your volume. Kill Twitch and come right back. That's usually the easiest ways. So while we're waiting for Nico to come on, she calls me and she says that my book is at home. I need to get it. I have a test to take, yada yada yada. And so I, being the nice father that I am, decided that I would just go and help her. So we met halfway between, I live in Simi Valley, which is like right outside of LA, and she's in Santa Barbara or Goleta for UC Santa Barbara. So we met halfway this morning and then drove on back to do the show. So a little trying to get my bearings right here, trying to make sure that we're all good. But we are here, and that's all that matters today. I was a little concerned. We got Azul on the Mixcloud side. What's going on? I was a little concerned, to be honest with you, with today, because if a lot of people don't know this, but LA, Ventura, we've been having these Spectrum internet outages. So yesterday I went to stream because I wanted to just kind of test some things before I brought Nico on. And within like 5 minutes before, I was freezing up like crazy. Check my internet. My internet's like 500 down. I'm like, hey, what's the problem here? There's something going on. Check my up speed. 2 megabits per second up. 2. Now, if you don't know, 2 is not a good number. And in reality, you probably need to be sitting at least 6 meg, maybe 10 to be on the safe side. But 2, you can't do anything with 2. You might as well just turn it off, which is what I did. I just turned it off. So this is where we are. This is what we're doing. And that's life in the big city with Spectrum. And I think it's fine right now, but who knows? We'll see what happens. It might be fine, and in 20 minutes, all of a sudden, it's crapping out at me again. I was watching Angie V's show on Tweak and Tweak Music Tips, and strange thing was, she looked like she was cutting out. I think she was in LA this time. So let me know if you guys have been having any internet troubles while you've been streaming today. Let me know. Looks like we have a raid on our hands. Looks like we got a Tweak Music Tips raid coming through right now. What is going on, fam? For all the people that are on Mixcloud right now, and you're not familiar with what Twitch is or the community that Twitch has, there was a channel that had a stream on, and then the moment they finished their stream, they moved their entire party of people over to Twitch. So we have a raid coming in. I don't even know how many people. Wow, looks like about 100 people raid coming in. Thank you so much, Tweak Music Tips. Make sure you're following Tweak Music Tips. They are operating on both sides here, both Twitch, Mixcloud. They operate on Mixcloud, YouTube, Facebook. So make sure you follow Tweak Music Tips. That's Kova. That's the man right there. So should be a good time. So while we are waiting on Nico, should be on in just a few minutes. I told him 12:15 to be ready to come on. So that's when he should be here. You know, you never know. You could be on and then all of a sudden nobody shows up. It happens. So let's do a little bit of a room check here. Let's see what we got going on here. There's a lot of people. There is a lot of people coming in right now. So I just want to say hello to everybody. Oh, there is a lot of people coming through right now. Yes. So if you guys do not know, Ratbone, throw up the link so they don't, if they're on their smartphones, they can just click on the link to refresh. If you're on a browser, just go ahead and refresh from the browser. If you're on a phone, we'll send the link through the comments, and we'll go from there. Funny thing is, on StreamYards, it doesn't show that the raid numbers have increased, strangely enough. So that is what it is. Anyway, so let's take a look at what we got here. While we're waiting on Nico to come through, we got a little over 130 people on the stream. On Wake Up in Cleveland on Mixcloud, we have 4 people with a total of 9. Noah from Mixcloud side, what is going on? George E, what is going on? Good to see you guys over there. Thanks for hanging out today. So today we are going to be talking to, well, that's the plan anyway, to talk to Nico Perez about everything, about DMCA, about Mixcloud, about the future of Mixcloud. We're just going to be having a conversation. I think it's an important conversation to have. I think that a lot of people that have been trying to figure out where they should land, you know, where, when it's all said and done, when the dust settles, what platform are they going to be on? And of course, we have all of these platforms available to us. We have YouTube. We have, even though we don't, we have Facebook. We have Mixcloud. We have Twitch. We have Play DJ or Play 24, whatever it's called. There's a lot of There's a lot of things out there. But at this particular point in time, so it's Wednesday, the 2nd of December, there is no way that what we are doing on Twitch is legal. So we have to figure out what we want to do when it's all said and done. And there are legal applications out there. One of them is Mixcloud. And so we want to talk to him, and he can talk a little bit about his service, why it's important, why we should be moving over there. Twitch has been acting up, in case you were wondering. It's one of those things with Twitch over the last couple of days. It's been having some issues with itself. I did find that if you turn off real-time, I forget what the little setting is, but it's real-time something in the gearbox in Twitch. If you turn that off, it kind of fixes it a little bit. I don't want to say it fixes it all, but yesterday when I was having problems, that's what I did on the browser side. If it's on the phone side, there's really nothing I can do. So we are just waiting on, we're waiting on the man to get in. Let me send an email, make sure he's good to go. Okay, so low latency mode. Thank you, Ratbone. Thank you so much for that. That's exactly what it is, low latency mode. So while we are waiting for Nico to arrive, while we're waiting for him to arrive, if we have any questions, if we have any particular questions for Nico, let's throw them in the chat right now. That way, we can ask all the relevant questions for him. So while we were waiting on those and while we were checking out all the questions, let's do a little bit of a room check. We got political RNs in the house. 559 DJ Juice, Marcy Baby in the house. What's going on, girl? John, Unforgiven. DJ Timo in the house. 559. I already said him. DJ Bye P Dipper. DJ Stress TV. That's my man from Jetpack. So I assume Alpha Music is right behind him. We got DJ Yoshi in the house. What's going on? Forgard in the house. Make sure you follow Forgard. Forgard's he's a dope individual. I just like watching his show. Art One Funk Bonks to the house. Mighty Rel. Let's see here. And of course, look, we know that that Nico did know the time because we did post it on IG and he liked it. So we know that he knows it's Pacific Standard Time. We're waiting on here. So Real DJ Yoshi says, we have questions. Yes, we do have questions. And hopefully we get some answers. All right. J-Mix in the house. Big Roo in the house. Who else we got in here? 105, F105 Darwin, what is going on? Who else we have on here? Ratbone, that's one of my mods. Thank you for hanging out today. Bettina in the house, thank you so much for hanging out today. Chris Cut in the house, what is going on, fam? Kings and Queen Entertainment, that's the Canadian fam up there. Make sure you follow Kings Queen Entertainment. They're dope. Great reggae sessions too. Ladies and gentlemen, she is J Rose in the house. Make sure you follow J Rose. They have a show on tonight, her and her man, DJ Rel, not Mighty Rel, but DJ Rel. They have a Twitch show, starts at I think 8:30 tonight. Could be 9. Somewhere around there. Anyway, super dope vibes. Make sure you follow them. Meta Spin in the house. Good to see you, girl. Good to see you. Thanks for hanging out. Check my email. Got to keep checking emails. We got, who else we got in here? Live It Up in the house. And T Diesel, and that's another one of my mods. What is going on? So many people. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Twin Spin in the house. The ELO show in the house. Squad in the house. By the way, if you guys didn't know, I did make a brand new emote just for this show called Wake Up. So if you got those emotes, drop them down in the chat below. Drop them down in the chat if you got those emotes. Yeah, make sure you follow J Rhodes. Make sure you follow. Metaspin in the house. That's the girl. That's the vibe too. Always follow. Get your, as she says, get your medicine. That's like dad jokes right there. She got dad jokes, mom jokes. You know what? What are mom jokes? Curiously enough, do they exist? Do mom jokes exist, or is it just dad jokes? I guess moms can't make corny jokes. I didn't axe the thumbs up. The thumbs up is just on the second tier because I needed space, and I'm not partnered. So since I'm not partnered, I can't have it. I can't have everything. So I looked at the ones that were most used. I look and I see Nico in the green room right now. So I look at the ones that are most used, and I used those. So yeah, I apologize, but there is a solution. You could go up to the second tier. That's a solution. Not telling you what to do, of course. Not telling you what to do. Okay. Meta asked somebody. Oh, Meta has so many jokes today. So many jokes. She's on point today. Okay, so DJ Ed Love in the house too. Let's check on the Mixcloud side. Anybody else new? We got viewers, but they're not posting in the chat right now. So if you're actually watching the stream on Mixcloud, I need you to post some comments. Let us know what's going on. Oh, and I see that we have some questions here, so I'll make sure I answer those questions also when we get Nico on. Yeah, tier two. Okay, so obviously we do the show on Wednesdays at 12 o'clock. We do it on Wednesdays at 12 o'clock because for a lot of DJs, for a lot of people that can't get up at, say, 9 in the morning, this is a perfect opportunity for them. So we've been doing this time for the last 2 weeks. I think it's been working out. We're getting some good results across the board. And this is the day that Nico was available. So I do want to bring Nico in. Nico is the CEO of Mixcloud. So he's the guy that you want to talk to if you have any questions about Mixcloud, about the future. So we're going to bring him in. But first, I need to just move to a commercial. We're just going to make sure that everything is good. Sit tight for about 2 minutes. And we're going to bring Nico in right afterwards. So let's move him over right now. Okay, look, I know you think this is a little weird that we're sitting here talking and I just left and I was in a completely different outfit. Well, that's future me. I'm past me. So what I want to talk to you guys a little bit about while they're setting up for this next guest that's coming on, and I'm sure they're going to be dope, but I want to talk to you a little bit about ways to support the channel. You see, there's a lot of work that goes into this channel, and the only way to keep it going, the only way to keep bringing on new people and upgrading the sets and upgrading the intros is by you supporting me. So here's a couple of ways that you can support me, and I'm not sure that a lot of you know this. If you're new to Twitch, you want to look down right here. There's a little subscribe button. That's the easiest way to support me. It's like $5. It's like buying me a cup of coffee. If we're at the bar, you're buying me a beer. If you're feeling a little more generous, maybe you want to gift somebody a free sub. If you are a Prime member, you can use your Prime membership. You get one per month. You can use that on me. It doesn't cost you anything. Now, if you're sitting there on the YouTube side, you can also hit that membership button right there, or you can give me a super chat and then send me off a tip. Look, I know that times are tough, money's tough, and I know that what I'm asking for some of you people might be a little too difficult. So there are other ways that you can help the channel. You can host the stream, share the stream. If you're on Facebook, if you're on YouTube, share the stream to everybody. Get the word out. That's the easiest way to help me out, and that doesn't cost you a dime. Those are just a couple of ways that you can do this. I think they're coming back, so I need to get out of here. Just remember what I said. We'll see you soon. Bye. Okay. Nico, can you hear me?
Yes. How's it going?
There you go. Perfect. How is it going?
Really good, man. This is amazing. This is my first time in Streamlabs taking part as a guest on a
Right.
show, so I'm loving it.
Yeah, no, StreamYards does a really good job of re- it's funny because I make this joke. Prior to StreamYards, I was using Restream
Hmm.
because they have their own version. And I kept having so many problems with it that I ended up going back to StreamYards. And for the most part, StreamYards does a really good job. And it's easy. I mean, just to be able to bring somebody on just like that, it's a quick connection. It doesn't get much better than that. I keep going back and forth with trying to do like Zoom and all that stuff. This just makes sense. And it's free. No, it's not free, but
Yeah.
it makes sense. It's cheap.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
give it a try.
I love this whole like green room setup where you're kind of like in the background and then you can kind of segue in.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It definitely makes it easy. And I don't know, can you see the comments on there? But you should be able to see the comments for the stream too.
Let me see. Yes. Yeah. I can see
Okay.
them. Yeah.
Perfect. So, for anybody that doesn't know, I'm going to say it one more time for all the people that are out there. Uh, this is Nico Perez. He is the CEO of Mixcloud. So he's the guy that I don't runs it. You know, I guess makes the big decisions, makes the hard choices for the application, for the company. And the reason why I wanted to bring Nico on for anybody that's just joining us now is because this is a strange time to be a DJ in the world. In 2020, it's DJing is something that is needed, but yet forbidden at the same time. So a lot of DJs out there have been jumping from kind of ship to ship and not really settling on a home. And having a company such as Mixcloud that truly focuses on the DJ, I think it was important for people to kind of understand what you do. Obviously, we are streaming on Twitch, we are streaming on YouTube, we are streaming on Mixcloud. So I wanted to bring you on here to give you the opportunity to kind of talk about, you know, what it is that you guys are doing, your focus, just kind of the future for Mixcloud. And then I know there's a lot of people that have a lot of questions out there. So I just want to have a conversation, and then we can go from there. So if you want to kind of just give a general of the company, what you guys do, that kind of stuff, and then we'll kind of go from there.
Yeah, for sure. Well, first of all, thank you very much for having me on the show. Definitely appreciate it. So just give you like a bit of a history. Mixcloud in a nutshell. We started about 10 years ago in London, in the UK. It was myself and a couple buddies from college who used to be radio show presenters and DJs ourselves. And the original idea was to build a home for DJs to host their mixes and shows online legally, and just create a platform for that. And we did a lot of very, very difficult and hard work in terms of getting the licenses in place to be able to do that. It took about 3 years of my life, gave me a lot of gray hair working with these major record labels to get those deals done. But what it meant was that Mixcloud could be a platform where, as a DJ or radio presenter, you don't have to worry about what tracks you're playing in your mix or your show. You don't have to worry about clearing rights or anything like that. We take care of that. We take on that responsibility, and therefore, there's no takedowns, there's no muting. You're not going to get kicked off the platform or anything like that. So that was, Mixcloud for the first 10 years, a place where you could host a recording of your mix or recording of your show. And then obviously, like everybody else, the pandemic hit us in about January, February of this year. And we just started to get a bunch of our community kind of messaging us, emailing us, calling us and being like, do you have a live streaming element? Can we go live streaming on Mixcloud? Like, we really want to do live streaming. And we'd always talked about it as like, maybe we should do a bit of live streaming over the years, because most people associate radio with being live.
Right.
But it was really the pandemic was the catalyst for us to go, okay, now is the time, we got to do this. And we spent, like heads down 3 solid weeks just working nonstop. And we launched a live streaming element to the platform in April. And that has been growing like wildfire since then, because of kind of what you were just saying. A lot of DJs maybe started on Instagram, D Nice, all these guys who were doing really incredibly well there, but then found that like actually they were getting shut down and they were getting kicked off and booted out of there. Then they were trying Facebook, and similar story. Now a lot of people are trying out Twitch, and then recently seen some DMCA takedowns there, and Twitch saying, don't use other people's music, which as a DJ, like, that's a tough thing to hear. So really, like what we're focused on is just building out this platform by DJs for DJs as a safe space in a home for this type of entertainment, really.
Yeah, it's interesting that you would say that because on Twitch, kind of the running joke is don't play anybody else's music, but by the way, we're gonna make you partner and keep doing what you're doing, but don't play anybody else's music. So it's one of those weird catch-22s. But I think now we'll get into that in a moment. But going back to what you were saying is that this module, this live streaming module that you put out, this wasn't something that was like kind of already sitting on the shelf somewhere and you just kind of pulled it out. Like you actually rewrote your scripting to be able to run this on the platform.
Yeah, we built it. I mean, before April, we had none of this technology. The team just like got 3 cases of Red Bull and just like went ham on it. They were like working and coding day and night. It was incredible to see, and like they turned it around really quickly. And so, we still have a beta label on it, and we have that there because it's kind of just recognizing that we're still early on in the game. We have all of the kind of table stakes in terms of you can stream live, you can have the chat, you can subscribe to your favorite DJs. There's actually a monetization program as well called Mixcloud Select, which we can talk about if you want. And all the table stakes are there, but at the same time, we don't yet have things like custom emojis in the chat. A lot of the gamification elements, things like that. So we know we still have some work and things to build there, but that's coming. So it won't be in beta forever.
Well, and that's interesting too, because look, I have been fairly hard on Mixcloud as a whole, and not because I don't like the product. It's because I can see where the product should be going, and it feels like look, the beta came out in April, so now that I understand that you literally wrote the thing with from scratch with 2 picks and duct tape to get it to work, knowing that and where we are today kind of makes a little more sense, because as I'm looking at it like, God, I wish there were just more things, like for instance, I'm looking at the Mixcloud right here, the fact that now there is real-time numbers. I can see that there are 12 people on Mixcloud, and there are 27 people that have looked at, I guess, my stream at any given point, an accumulation. But for the longest time, now there's 11. For the longest time, I had no idea who was on the stream, and that was, extremely frustrating, not knowing what the real numbers were. I mean, I could have one person on, I'd have no idea. So, so I guess the question that I would like to know is, do you have a roadmap in place, or is it all kind of just sit to your pants, let's just see how it goes type thing? Because I think a lot of people want to know that, not that you're in competition with Twitch, but we'd be silly to act like it doesn't exist and that there aren't any features that people have come to love about Twitch. So is there a roadmap on what your plans are?
Oh yeah, for sure, man. Absolutely. And like I said, we want to make the platform better. Every day, every week, we're kind of working on it. And what we've done since the start is kind of, originally we had a custom stream key for every single time you went live. We changed that to persistent stream key. That integrated with OBS and Restream so that you could just get your settings up once and then that's done. We've improved the chat, added better emojis. We've added the ability to see who's in the chat room at this point in time. how many viewers are watching at this point in time, the ability to app message people, things like that. That's really just kind of the start and table stakes. Like I mentioned, custom emojis is on the roadmap. That's coming. Um, the the ability to potentially bring in some of your listeners in different ways, and thinking about like, what makes music special, right? Like if you're playing out in the club, you're usually there amongst a bunch of people are dancing, they're having a good time, you have that sense of like community. And that's really important word for us as well. And I think that thinking through like how do we bring that community to life more and give more feedback to the DJ on like what songs are working well, what songs are not. That's on the roadmap as well. We've got a few other ideas around monetization, things like tips, donations, helping people kind of generate an income during this time. That's a big plan as well. So yeah, there's a lot that we've been doing. Oh, we also launched ticketed live streams. So we just did a ticketed live stream last weekend with Flying Lotus. A couple weeks ago with Rachel Murphy from Moloko. So thinking about rolling that out to everybody at some point in time, again to help bring kind of an income back to working DJs who are like obviously out of gigs this year.
So let's talk about Select, because obviously it's almost like translating from the people that are on Mixcloud and then the people that are on Twitch right now. And there's a lot of people on Twitch that are watching this stream right now. I think there's like 130 people on Twitch, 120 people, because this is very important to them. And it's one of those things where I think people understand that the writing may be on the wall for Twitch, and this is just a temporary thing, and they're going to have to move somewhere. But there's two things that are very, very important to Twitch users. One, obviously community is important, but if you got people on Twitch, I feel like you can move them over to Mixcloud. But that's not the biggest thing. The biggest thing is, for a lot of people, is compensation, and you mentioned the tips, and the raid feature. So maybe we can talk about let's talk about the raid feature first, and then we'll move into the select plan, so the premium select plan.
Yeah. I didn't mention it in the roadmap, but yes, raids. Well, for us, it would be something different, right? Like DJs already have the concept of going back to back, so we'd probably just, the working title right now is digital back to backs, global back to backs. But again, like thinking about it through the lens of like, how is that different for DJs and music, and how do we actually think about it more generally in terms of like, if you were going to go to a festival or a nightclub, there would usually be a lineup, and you might have anywhere from like half a dozen to a dozen DJs and artists playing that night. And so we're thinking about it, how do we recreate that in the digital space and make it so that you, Terry, you might be headlining, and maybe you've got 3 friends warming up for you. So thinking through that idea of like digital collaboration across different time zones, different locations, things like that, but building it out as a kind of like full experience for an evening or even for a whole day. What does that look like for DJs and music fans? That's definitely something that we're thinking through right now.
Yeah. I appreciate what you're saying, because the back to back, everybody's kind of doing that anyway when they do their raid trains and things like that, where they've already kind of preset their lineup. They know where they're going. So I think having something like that is probably enough for most people. But I can tell you from experience, from what I've understood and heard, that a lot of people, that's one of the reasons why they stay, because literally it's hey, we're going to take this party right over here to this party. And for a lot of people that are newer, and this probably moves into like the select plans and things like that, a lot of people don't have the numbers to support paying for like a streaming service, paying for like a select plan. So they're doing it, but there's very little marketing for them. So those raids help them. It sends people over. Like Tweak Music Tips, and after we're done with this show, we're gonna find on Twitch, we're gonna find the person with the lowest number, and we're gonna raid them with as many people as we can, just to kind of show them that this community, works together. So
Yeah, that's awesome.
so I appreciate the fact that the back to back works. But do you think that at some point there's going to be some way to like do a manual, like, hey, my boy just got on, he wasn't supposed to be on today, let me send you to him? Is that a possibility?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'd be curious actually to ask you, like, do you plan that kind of stuff in advance, or do you kind of, is it more spontaneous once you're done kind of with your show, you have a look around and then pick somebody?
That's pretty much for me, unless I know one of my guys is gonna go on. Like today is Wednesday. Typically speaking, if I wasn't rating somebody small, I'd be rating probably Mojax, from DJ City. So I would rate him at around 2:00. But a lot of times it's literally like, okay, we got 5 minutes left. Let me just go look and see who's on. Okay, oh, so and so is on. Let's go rate him real quick. You know what I mean? And it's like, and then it kind of gives you a little more free spirited, because sometimes you feel like sometimes it can be political. Sometimes you want to raid somebody that's larger because it's gonna expose you a little more, and then you're gonna get some of that reciprocation from them. And sometimes you just want to help people. I can tell you that from my own personal experience, Twitch has helped me from a community standpoint. Because all of these DJs have been on here, Serato's on here, all of these kind of big companies are doing their streams, and they might be simultaneously streaming to Mixcloud too. Like I was on this morning, Jazzy Jeff was on Twitch, but he was also on Mixcloud streaming. And so I know that happens, but their emphasis is on Twitch. But because I'm in these streams and I'm seeing people and meeting people, it's literally like a big family, and everybody just kind of comes together. So sometimes if Serato just goes on Mixcloud and I'm like, oh, I want to go ahead and raid them, like I'd like to be able to make that choice, because if it's all preset, because there are preset days, but then there are random days, and I think people need to have both.
Because that spontaneity makes it kind of fun, right? Like if it's kind of spontaneous, nobody really knows, it could go any direction.
Right. So and I know a lot of people out there, and I think they're in the stream right now. I mean, the raid probably, for whatever reason, supersedes even the ability to get tipped. They're
Really?
like, I need those raids. I don't know why. I enjoy a raid. It's fun to get a raid, but it doesn't really affect your numbers until you try to become an affiliate. After that, they don't really work. But still, that family, that team, it's almost like where, by the way, where are you physically? Like what country?
I am in New York right now.
Oh, you're in New York.
But I'm usually based in London.
Okay, gotcha. So New York's probably one of those things, but like, you ever been to like, Mexico or whatever, and you go onto the party bus and it takes you from club to club to club to club? You get back on the bus, it takes you to another club, and you're hanging with the same people, and you're having a blast. That's kind of like what what the raid trains are. It's a party bus. People get on and they just stay on until they're ready to no longer listen to music. So I think if you can get that feature in, I think it would do wonders for your stream.
All right.
And I know there's another company like you, Play 24, Play DJ.
Play DJ. Yeah, Play DJ. Yeah, Play DJ.
Yeah, and they're very similar to you guys, and I talk to them too, but they want to charge you for hours. I just think that's silly. Like, there's a maximum number of hours. Keep it open, whatever you do. So let's talk about Select, how that works, how a person can utilize it and to earn revenue.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so basically anybody who signs up for Mixcloud Pro, they unlock a few different things. So they unlock the ability to get extra stats on where their listeners are coming from, all the way down to the city level. You can see how long people are listening for, what device they're using, things like that. You can schedule your uploads if you're doing uploads, kind of pre-recorded shows. You can go live. Obviously, that's the kind of main big one right now. And you can turn on our monetization program, which is called Mixcloud Select. What that does is basically enables you to choose a price point. Most people just go for the kind of $2.99 price. And once you've chosen that, you can choose what you want to make exclusive, only available to your paying subscribers, or what you want to make available for free. Your paying subscribers will be able to download all of your shows offline. Only they will be able to access the exclusives. And what we've seen is like that's working really, really well for people, especially people who are doing like a live stream on the weekend. They make it available to everybody for free. And then we have our archiving feature, which allows you to auto archive it to your profile. And then they make that the recording exclusive. So that's working really well for John Digweed right now. A few other people who are doing that, kind of their weekly show on the weekends, and then the exclusive for paying fans after. And I think, as far as I'm aware, we're the only platform that not only legally allows you to do the live streams, but allows you to like save down the recording to your profile as well, because we got all those licenses in place. So right now it's kind of just one level of subscription. So it's kind of $2.99 is the only option. What's on the roadmap and we're thinking about for the future is, you know, multiple levels where, you know, you might get a level with, you know, a merch drop once a year or X amount of times a year, a different level with, you know, discounts to gig tickets when we can do gigs again, things like that. So we want to make it more flexible and offer things beyond just the music and the audio. But yeah, that's also kind of coming on the roadmap soon.
And so I forget the fee of the $2.99 price point. What is your breakout as opposed to the artist?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So the other thing that's unique about Mixcloud Select is that not only do you as a DJ earn revenue, but the artists and songwriters who you're playing on your channel within your mixes and your shows, they generate income as well. And so that royalty breakdown gets split, that $2.99 gets split. And this is all on our kind of Select homepage. If you want to check it out, it's /select/creators. So 65% goes to the artists and songwriters who actually created the music. About 18% goes to the DJ or whoever's running the channel. And we as a platform keep about 12, and then 5% is a credit card processing fee. So that's the breakdown.
Gotcha. Okay. And then so that's from a subscription base. And right now there's only the $2.99 price. As a streaming DJ, our price is $15 a month.
Yeah, that's right. So for a pro package, for sign up, become a pro member, it's $15. And you know that unlocks all those things that I just mentioned. And you know, we're thinking about maybe there's kind of other things that we could bundle into that as well. You know, the ability to link up with a merch store, things like that of that sort. But that's probably kind of more towards the second half of next year.
Gotcha. And I want to mention to everybody out there that is not familiar with the Mixcloud, the $15 is the only way that you can stream. You can't stream on any other package. You need to pay for that $15 a month stream, correct?
Yeah, that's right. Well, to live stream, you have to be a pro member. You can get a month for free, so you can try it out, test it out, see how you like it. But to keep going, it's $15 a month, and that's really to help basically support the infrastructure that we have to build to kind of put this all in place. So the servers, the hosting, the bandwidth, the whole copyright royalty payment pipelines that we have to use to report out to record labels, artists, publishers, all those people. So it's a very complex system, and that's really what the fee is for. To use the platform for pre-recorded shows and pre-recorded mixes, that is free. It's unlimited. You can use it as much as you want. You can upload as many mixes as you want. Yeah, that's basically it in a nutshell.
And I see this question popping up a lot here. Just to clarify,
Yeah.
you cannot stream any type of video mixing on the platform, correct?
Yeah, that's right. So we have the licenses for streaming music. We don't have licenses for, like, we're not like an MTV. Like we can't stream music videos back to back. So you can have crazy visuals and stuff behind you and get really creative, but we're not really a music video platform.
Gotcha. And I'm looking at the comments here. For instance, like DJ Bishop says, that's the reason why I can't switch to Mixcloud. But the facts are, even Twitch, not only do they not have the license to legally play music, but that's a separate license that they're gonna have to pull in order to play videos too. So they're kind of gonna fall into the same boat, no matter if they become legitimate or not. The video aspects are probably still not gonna happen. So and I could be wrong about that, but that's kind of the way I'm feeling when I look at everybody out there. Nobody is streaming videos. Like it must be a very complicated license.
Yeah, it's as far as I'm aware, different in every country, and it's kind of more difficult to get, and it's difficult to get like a blanket one. And I think that's why most people just kind of stream audio.
Gotcha. Now I noticed that you finally were able to get Restream to use you as one of their defaults, so nobody has to pay for that extra fee anymore. But still not in their chat bot. Is there any plans on getting the chat into Restream also?
Yeah, so they actually reached out to us because they were getting like just bombarded with people asking them to add Mixcloud. So they built that integration for us. Yeah, we definitely want to think about how we enable the chat to kind of exist outside of Mixcloud. And I think that goes beyond Restream. There's StreamYard, Streamlabs, a few different other kind of tools out there, and thinking about how we basically open up the chat via an API is definitely kind of something that we would like to do as well.
Gotcha. And I don't know that it's, I mean, it's easy. I stopped using Restream to stream everything, to be honest with you, because I kept getting the bots, and people would see the bot and it would kind of unnerve them a little bit for whatever reason. They thought it was like some sort of scam. So I actually stopped using the Restream bots for chat. But it's very clean if you notice, in StreamYards. Like it's very transparent and it's easy to use. Yeah, so I probably will just end up here. So actually, Audio One had a question. He actually sent me a text a little while ago, and he wanted to ask about the 3-song artist limit that is currently built within the Mixcloud recording, and how that plays into live streaming. If we do hey, we want to do a Busta Rhymes, show, and it's all Busta Rhymes, like, is that even a possibility, or should we be concerned with that? Like, what's the plan, I guess?
Yeah. Well, I guess maybe first it'd be helpful to kind of explain the history behind that. So way back in the day, and this is like in the 70s or 80s, when they originally started licensing radio stations through the FCC, there was a big debate about whether people would just play entire albums on the radio. And they were worried, record labels were worried that people would just kind of like hit record the album and never go out and buy it. And so that is the origin of these rules around like how many tracks by an artist that you can play within any kind of 3-hour period. That became a thing when everybody started kind of moving to web radio back in the 90s. That was part of the original kind of web radio, what's called the US statutory license, section 114, if you want to get really technical and legal about it.
Mm-hmm.
And so that is something that we as a platform have to abide by. So that's why there's a rule. It's actually maximum 4 tracks by an artist or 3 consecutively. And that is something that we have to abide by on our free to listen tiers. So that means as a listener, if you're listening kind of on live or on demand for free, that's something we have to abide by as a platform. If you upgrade and are a select subscriber to your favorite DJ, that number actually goes up to 8. So you can play 8 tracks by an artist, which is fairly good number, and listeners can listen to that no problem if they're a subscriber to your channel. And that's kind of the rules that we agreed with the record labels, and that was sort of like part of the deal to get the licenses done that would make it safe for everybody to use the platform.
So 2 questions. One, I'm going to assume that since you are paying the artist and the publishing, that you have some sort of a music search algorithm that can spot it and then pay the appropriate people. Does that same system apply to the 4 songs, and yet the guy plays the 5th song? I mean, how does one even get spotted on something like that?
Yeah. It's a good question. Yes. So we have what's called a audio fingerprinting setup, which is kind of basically like, I'm sure everybody's probably familiar with Shazam. If you imagine the kind of like huge business edition, like enterprise edition of Shazam, that's kind of what we use. It's a company called Gracenote, and that basically picks up and identifies the music that's being played. Now, that said, it's not perfect. It doesn't pick up everything. No audio fingerprinter in the world is perfect. And so sometimes you'll see, things that don't get picked up. That's kind of true of us. That's true of any platform, really, because no platform out there could ever afford to like have an individual person kind of listening to every single stream and kind of like writing down the track list. That's just impossible. So that's why sometimes if you go live on Facebook or other platforms, you might be fine. But it all depends on whether the fingerprinting algorithm picks it up.
Yeah, which is typically on the stuff that all the DJs want to play, all the popular stuff. Lost my train of thought here. Oh, okay. So as far as fingerprinting is concerned, if that's the case, is there any administrative things that come back to us from that? So who plays what song, so you can pay them. But is there any way that can be populated in while we're playing? Maybe it shows up in the section, in the comment section, or underneath our thing that shows, oh, he's playing this song right now. Like, is there any of those features that can be included in there? Because right now that's kind of a popular thing. There's a lot of plugins for Twitch and things like that that show the song. So, because people always ask, what are you playing? What is that song? You're like, it's right here in the comments. Is there anything like that that's possible in the future?
Yeah, so we're doing that right now after the live stream, after it's been recorded, and then we process the file, and then you have the option to put in a track list. If you want, you can upload it from your Serato or from your Tractor or whatever software you use, and you can kind of drop it in there. If you don't do that, then we basically default back to what's been identified by the audio fingerprinter, and that comes up if you're listening again. So if you've done a recording or uploaded a pre-recorded show and you haven't put in a track list, we'll show what song is playing where. We don't yet do that live real time, but I think if enough people are interested in that, then that's something that we could look into building out as well.
Question, maybe this is personal, but I'm sure somebody was going to ask, what is the thoughts, or I guess the ruling behind replays are audio only instead of being visual too?
Yeah. So again, that's another kind of legal, technical kind of situation. So when you play music and you have the visuals and you save them down together and you make that available on demand again, that needs a different type of license. It needs what's called a synchronization rights clearance, or you hear people talk about sync a lot. And for that type of license, you have to clear every single song one by one manually. So
Wow.
it's pretty much impossible to do that. And I don't know anybody who's managed to do that. And I don't have enough years in my life to like try to do that for every single song. But what's cool is that as long as it's just the audio recording, not the video and the audio together, we have the licenses that permit that to be replayed. So there you can get what are called blanket licenses rather than having to do every single individual song. So hopefully that makes sense.
Yeah, I think so. There's a there's a question that keeps popping up. So let's just clarify one more time. So if in the instance that you play more than 4 or 5 songs from an artist, and you said on the select plans, on the plans that on the select plans there is no limit as far as the artist is concerned, as long as it's not consecutive. I think consecutive is the issue.
Yeah, so just to clarify, so everybody, I know this is kind of complicated. If you're playing out live, and you play up to 4 songs by an artist, as long as they're not all one after another and they're kind of spread out in the mix, that's totally fine. When you go over 4, if the fingerprinter picks them up, then we will have to make that recording only available to your paying subscribers. It won't be available to everybody for free. That's kind of how it works, but it will still be available to your paying subscribers.
As far as what you guys do, so if they're not, it has to be available to your paid subscribers, but you guys don't turn off that particular audio file. If it is.
The recording would automatically only be available for paying subscribers. So let's say let's take an example. Let's say I did a Busta Rhymes mix and I did a tribute and I put in like 8 tracks by him. And then, that gets, after you've done the live stream, the recording goes to your profile and you can choose to save it down there. That that mix will only be available for paying subscribers. It's basically an exclusive, just like anything else that you choose to make exclusive.
Gotcha. And I don't actually think that that's all that strange, because it then provides some of the paying customers with something more than your average person.
And like I was saying earlier, what we've seen work really well is people doing live streams and then making the recordings of those live streams only available for the paying subscribers. It's kind of like, you missed the live thing. Well, if you want to catch it again, chip in $3 a month, help support what I'm doing, like easy. You get access to all the exclusives and all the recordings. So,
gotcha. Yeah. It's interesting because, yes, I do DJ. I do my little DJ pop-ups, but this show is the thing that's the most consistent. But yet, even on my shows, I get stripped of my video, even though there is no music. So, it is what it is, I guess.
Maybe someday we can like build out the ability to do, if it's only talk, then we could save the video. But there's not. You're one of the few people who do really good talk shows that are popular and get a lot of people on them. Tends to be more music and DJs.
Right. And I guess we should probably talk about the discoverability and the phone app. A lot of people question how they can be discovered amongst all of these, hundreds and thousands of people. What's the plan for discoverability? Is it just kind of the luck of the draw? I think I I hit the front page like once. I was shocked. They're like, "Oh, you're on the front page." I'm like, "Oh, really?" But how? What can we tell a new DJ that's on Mixcloud how to improve their chances?
Yeah, yeah. A lot of it comes down to like how much how much time and energy you put into the metadata. So things like tagging it with the right genre, that's really key. Putting in a track list, putting in a description, putting in a good piece of artwork, making that artwork consistent, just being consistent with everything you do. Like choose a day of the week that you do your stream or you upload your mix and be consistent with that because that builds loyalty over time. From our side, we are building out the ability when you go live streaming to choose your kind of like most like the genre that you're gonna planning to mostly play. So you could say it's hip hop or funk or dubstep or whatever you want.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're going to start to break out and not just have like one live streaming page, but for people who are interested in hip hop, you'll be able to go to the hip hop page and see who's streaming hip hop, and that should help with discoverability of a lot as well.
I think so.
Yeah, and then the other thing that we're thinking about is like, how do we enable you to reach? A lot of people have built up big Facebook or Instagram followings over the years.
Mm-hmm.
How do we enable you once you're going live on Mixcloud to like trigger a notification out to all those people and let them know like, hey, I'm live. This is where you can find me. It's not going to get interrupted. It's not going to get taken down. It's not going to get muted, and make that whole process a lot easier.
Gotcha. So I'm going to be that guy. And it all sounds great, but what is the reality of, pushing a lot of these concepts and ideas through to get them into fruition? So we're actually, wanting to use the program. I want to give people the go ahead. Like, you know what, guys? Mixcloud is perfect now. Nothing's ever perfect. We know that, but Mixcloud is really, really good. You can head over there now because a lot of people fight me on it. I'm like, look, Mixcloud is legal. They say that's great, but it doesn't do this. It doesn't do that. It doesn't do this. Until they do this, I can't move over there. And I want you to win. You're legal. You support DJs. I want you guys to win here. So, is there a logical roadmap that we can actually lock a time to that we're going to be getting things out?
Yeah. It's a really good question, and the truth is, like, I talk to a lot of DJs every week, and
Mm-hmm.
the sentiment tends to be the same thing. It's like, we love what you're doing. You guys are obviously like built by DJs for DJs. You just don't quite have everything there yet, and
Mm-hmm.
I recognize that. I totally happy to own that and say, yeah, it's true. Like, we don't have all the features in place. We don't have everything built out. But we kind of only started this in April, right? And we've actually built quite a lot since April.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I would say is like our core focus is building features, solutions, and a platform for DJs to express themselves and generate an income from. And we're going to be here, we've been here for 10 years doing that. We're going to be here for another 10 years doing that. We're not, a lot of these other bigger platforms, like music is one small, tiny part of like
Very
the
small.
bigger thing that they do. And so I guess my answer to you and everybody watching is like, it's in our interest to do all of this, and
Mm-hmm.
we are very focused on building tools for this community, and for DJs and artists and creators out there. And so what I'd say is like, definitely try out everything that's out there. Give us a little bit of time to get those things like tips and raids and back-to-backs and things like that. But it's comes back to like we've been here for 10 years doing this for DJs. And we're going to be here for another 10 years. So hopefully that like gives people some trust that we're doing this the right way, and we're doing it kind of the legal way, and we're doing it in a way that like builds the foundations right. Like when you're building a house, you want to build the foundation right so that you can build a great beautiful house on top of that, and that's what we've done. And we got the license in place, and I promise you within the next year we're going to have tips, donations, raids, and more, and some really cool stuff that I can't even talk about right now, but lots of cool stuff is coming too.
Well, it's funny because I've been making a joke, and I've been making this joke hoping that it's not true, because when the DMCA started hitting Twitch, obviously hitting Facebook and everything, I kept stating, well, technically speaking, Mixcloud doesn't have to do anything but wait, and sooner or later people are going to have a choice. But I'm like, but I don't want that to be the reason that people move to Mixcloud. I want them to feel like, no, we want to move, we want to leave Twitch because it is legal and we can get the same experience over there. So I think it's really, really important that people can kind of see and hear you and understand that it's not just about playing the waiting game.
Yeah, and what I'd say is like we're not even trying to do this exactly the same experience. What we're trying to do is to make it specific and special and unique and custom for DJs and music heads, right? Like that's our background. That's what we're trying to do. That's where we come from. And so, we're not going to like build this with the mindset of like, how do we make this work for esports or video games? It's really like, how do we make this work for the music community?
Mm-hmm. That's great. That's great. Simple question, but something that happened this morning. When are we going to allow name changes in the titles without having to go into Mixcloud? Because if we're using Restream, if we're using, like I have my ATEM, I don't want to have to go back into Mixcloud just to change the name. When are we going to be able to change the name effectively across the board?
Yeah, so that will be part of when we build out the chat API that basically speaks to other streaming tools, I guess I would say, like Restream or like StreamYard or Streamlabs. That would be part of it as well, because it would be an API that kind of the platforms speak to each other. Gotcha.
For the people that had questions that we have not answered yet, can you please repost them in the chat? The chat's very long today, so then we can re-answer the questions. I just answered the updating titles in Mixcloud. I knew that was the big thing, but please put the questions in the chat, and we'll do a little room check real quick. We got DJ Icy Ice from the Beat Junkies in the house, Snapback crew, DJ TLM in the house. Good to see you, fam. Thanks for hanging out today. Make sure you follow all these people I'm talking about. Illamax. We got Shortcut, DJ Shortcut, another legendary beat junkie right there. Make sure you're following him. L. Connors, DJ Reese, Audio One. We got some people in the house. Look, all of these people, these are all major DJs that are literally waiting for the reason to move over. So I think this is a perfectly timed meeting, even though we had to reschedule from the first time. But I think it's a perfectly timed meeting for them, because if I have found that in order for people to move over, it takes the big ones. The big streamers are the ones that get people to move over. Yeah, I can get some people over, but it's going to be, the Seratos and, the scam artists and all these people that move over that take everybody with them. Like the Angie V's, she pulls in like, 1,500 streamers a day. And that's just her just doing a pop-ups. It's insane. So I think that's the kind of thing that's going to get that move over. But once the things are in place, I believe legitimately that people will move over. Yes, we have stubborn people. I know you mentioned D-Nice. He's still on IG, for God's sakes. So, it is what it is. Some people just find a home and they don't want to leave it. But I think DJs have learned. We've always been resilient, but I think quarantine has really pushed us into a whole new box. And, we are very adaptable now, which I don't want to, I can say we probably weren't before. I mean, even with Mixcloud, I mean, there was SoundCloud and people were on SoundCloud. And then when Mixcloud, even though you've been here, but when you popped up, people were like, I don't know. I'm happy with SoundCloud. Meanwhile, every song is getting killed and they can't get their mixes to stay on. So I think people just need an education. Which actually leads me to another question. Not a lot of marketing goes into, I mean, I'm sure you market, but as far as like really getting the word out about what you guys do besides word of mouth, like when I saw your video module pop up, I did a video on it. Hey guys, streaming on Mixcloud. But do you have a plan to kind of get people to really move over to the stream once you guys are really, really confident in what you're providing?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the truth is we've actually done zero marketing to date. It's all been 100% word of mouth, just DJs telling other DJs. But I think going into next year, just we have to spread the word wider than just the DJ community and get it out there. And so we're going to be looking at kind of like, how do we do marketing, but actually do it in a way that like brings in and incorporates a lot of the DJs and creators on the platform. So that it's not like, we don't want it to be like a super corporate thing. We want it to be like authentic and genuine and actually like speaks to and comes from as well, like some of the incredible people on the platform. So, whether it's Carl Cox or, another of the Beat Junkies, J Rock, shout out to the Beat Junkies. I've been listening to them for a really long time. But yeah, like people like that who are like authentically using the platform and building out like essentially like case studies and understanding and ultimately like awareness of like what we do and how it's different. Are we switching
Gotcha.
the camera
Sorry.
angle?
No. We are talking to the let me put you back. We're talking to the daughter because she needs something. So
okay, no worries.
Get her a piece of paper.
Family first.
And you can hear her arguing with me over the fact that she needs paper. There you go. You good? So I don't know how it is in London. Can you shut my door, please? I don't know how it is in London, but what has quarantine been like for you guys? Are you guys doing in-house studies with the kids and all those things? I mean, I don't even know if you have kids. I'm making an assumption, but what is it like for you guys?
Don't have kids yet. Got a little puppy who you might have heard.
I heard him barking.
Yeah, I heard the bark towards the start of the show. Yeah, it's been I think like a bit of a roller coaster. I think for us and for a lot of people, like there's kind of moments of like relaxation and realization that we don't have to commute anywhere and kind of like spend a lot of time with my girlfriend who's now my fiance and like just spend a lot of time at home, which is really nice on one hand. And then on the other hand, it's like this feeling of like kind of being stuck somewhere and not being able to get outside. And I think that's also something that we've seen in like, across the DJ community, this kind of like roller coaster of like, maybe people weren't like comfortable with live streaming at the start. And then they kind of really got into it. And then there was this kind of like sense of like, well, we're doing this a lot for free and actually like we're not going to be able to play out and make any money from gigs for probably the rest of the year. Now it's looking like maybe till summer of next year. And so now there's this kind of evolution of like people thinking about how do I diversify my income, and that's why we've seen like a ton of people turn on Select, which are our monetization program, because it's for the people who are already doing these mixes and doing these live streams. Why not try and actually like go one more step further and build it into an income stream and build it into something that like supports what you do. And when there's a pandemic going on or something means that you can't play out, like it's at least, it's never going to like fully replace it, or maybe it will eventually, but like at the start it won't fully replace it, but over time it grows and it becomes that thing that, like, it's a nice little check every month
Right.
that helps you, get by the through the hard times.
Yeah, I think at a minimum, it's definitely going to be a supplemental. I think a lot of people are going to realize that, yeah, you never want to completely stop real life DJing, but
Yeah.
the fact that you can make as much money potentially in your house than driving through traffic to get to a place and leaving at 2 a.m, questionably drunk, to get home. This is a very safe environment, and a lot of a lot of clubs out there don't want to pay you anything. So you're like, I can make this same amount and I don't have to leave my house, and I'm still getting exposure to all these people. It's I think that it's here to stay. It's here. I mean, if you ask people like Audio One will tell you it's here to stay, and he loves DJing and touring and doing all these things. But hey, the money can be right. So we're just trying to run a business, which is the business of us.
Yeah. Yeah, and ultimately, like, I think the thing is, when you're playing out at a gig, you know there might be a couple hundred people there or something like that, but it's only one city, one place at one time. And
Mhm.
that's the beauty of the internet, is like you can just you can go global immediately.
Yes.
And so
Right.
you can start to really like grow an audience and a fan base across the world,
Mhm.
which I think that's pretty awesome. Like, I think
Yeah, I
that's the
agree.
realization that a lot of people have kind of, I think, been coming to over this past year.
Hmm. Um, we didn't talk about the app, and I think we probably
Mm,
should,
yeah.
because that's probably, in a lot of people's minds, probably the weakest part. Because obviously, if you go on the browser, there's a lot more information and things available to you. One question that has popped up and which is right here. Um, are you going to include a background audio and pop-out player? Now, I know before you even answer this that if you're using an iPhone with the latest OS, that's a default now. So if you shut down Mixcloud, it'll pop up right in the corner, just like Twitch does. Although it doesn't transfer as cleanly. When I do that, it pauses. Then I have to hit play again. But it is there. But is there any other features that you're thinking about building in for the phone app, or even for the older models? Or maybe, I don't know anything about Android, but I don't know if that's an issue with Android or not. But are there any features that are coming, or that maybe people just don't know about, that are in there
Mm.
already?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, so I was gonna say exactly the same thing. If you download the new iOS operating system, it does picture in picture. So when you leave the app, if you're still streaming something live, or consuming, like listening to something live, it will bring it into a nice little mini video, which is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
I was just using that the other day when I was watching Flying Lotus on the phone. So yeah, that is available now for anybody who has the new iOS. Definitely recommend the upgrade there. In terms of other things for the app, we've had a few people ask for the ability to live stream from the app, so like
From their
broadcast
phone.
out from the app.
Mm-hmm.
So we're kind of looking at, like, how much demand is there for that, or how much. The other thing is, like, what we've realized is a lot of people are still figuring out their live streaming setup,
Yes.
and things like being plugged in through a hard Ethernet cable to make sure that the bandwidth is there, the settings are right.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of things like that I think we're still figuring out, and still figuring out, like, actually, would an iPhone streaming app help that, or make it more confusing? I don't know yet.
Yeah, I know a lot of people that do on location mixes. Mike Marquez does I think it's sundown or sunrise mixes in New York. So he picks a different place, and as the sun's going up or going down, he's got his thing going. So, which is a very, very cool thing. Um, I think you're looking at two different things here. that you're probably going to need or potentially, which would help you. One would be, yes, a phone app. Are everybody using the phone app for that? No, but sometimes having that option is a feature. Now, if you could build in some sort of a OBS style like StreamYards is through with Mixcloud built in, I think that would help a lot of people. I saw somebody else in the chat posted in there for people that don't know what to use. As long as they have something that's able to connect them with it and connect a couple of, a camera and an audio source, I think a lot of people would be happy with that. And a lot of new people, it would just become the default. So they would stream to Mixcloud just because it already provides you, with the service.
Yeah.
But I've actually wanted to do some location mixing too. And I'm thinking, okay, which one do I want to use? Do I want to use the phone? Do I bring a small camera and my computer and then just set the phone up as the Wi-Fi? Like there's all these little things that you could do, but the phones are so good now, camera wise. All the new phones are coming out with what is it? 5
5G.
LTE 5.
Yeah, 5G.
Yeah, the 5G. So, which is gonna, I mean, it's faster than my internet at home. Like it blows it out of the water. So if they're running 5G somewhere, it's like using a great connection. So I think you're gonna see a lot more people doing kind of almost in real life feeds as they're going around with their phones and checking things out. So it's probably something you need to have just because.
Yeah. What else would you
let me
like?
know in the chat if you guys believe that. Let me know in the chat, guys.
What else would you like to see? I'm curious. Like, if people in the chat want to drop some ideas in, I'm curious to hear. Like, if you could add one thing or several things to the app, what would you add?
And we're talking about the mobile app or just the app in general?
The mobile app.
The mobile app. Okay.
I mean, yeah. I mean, we could make it broader, but I think I'd be curious to know the interaction between yourself and the viewer is a shortcut. Yeah, I mean, I think that's a huge thing that's missing right now in every single platform is like, if you're DJing out in the club and you drop a track that really hits, you get that immediate like feedback of like the crowd goes wild. Like that's an incredible feeling, right? And we don't really have anything like that for live streaming right now. There's no sense of like, this is working really, really well. So that two-way interaction, and it's tricky, right? Because you're like, if you're on the decks, you're paying attention to that. You're, and short of like having like some clapping or crowd sound that comes out, maybe that's what we do. But like thinking about how to increase that level of interaction, I think that is definitely key. What else we got?
I always find that money shows that you're doing a good job.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Let's see. Royal Singleton says being able to stream from 2 mobile devices. That's interesting. I'd love to know what he means by that, because I'm even a little lost at that one.
There's one in there talking about DJ Unfrig. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Unfrigvin. Yeah, the ability to test stream strength and automatically adjust all settings for best streaming. So that is something that I didn't mention that we're building right now. On your live stream, it will show you your connection speed, your frames per second, all the settings that you've got within OBS or your streaming software, and we will be able to make recommendations. If, say, for example, just as an example, if you're streaming at 60 frames per second, you don't actually need to stream that high. That's like if you were doing sports. Yeah, exactly. If you're doing like sports video or something like that. So we will be able to give you that feedback and provide like a traffic light system of like green, 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 orange, red,
Now, is it something that's going to be a real-time adjust? Like if it senses that you're off, it'll adjust for you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Hopefully there will be some sort of a warning system. I can't. That's the reason that I left Restream, in all honesty, because they had an algorithm built in, and when it would think that there was a problem, it would adjust down, and all of a sudden I'm looking pixelated. Meanwhile, it was just a little blip on the internet bandwidth thing. So hopefully it's not too aggressive, because or at least you should be able to adjust down and then go from there.
Yeah.
Set time. Let's see. We got any more questions? Any more questions? Is it possible to link a Mixcloud live stream? Is it possible to link a Mixcloud live stream? Again,
Link.
I'm a little unsure about that one.
Yeah. Link to what? I'm not sure I get that question.
Yeah. Oh, here's a question. In your chat API that you're building, are
Yeah.
you going to allow for mods?
Like moderation?
Like moderators, correct?
Moderators. Yeah, probably. I mean, right now you can moderate obviously as the channel owner or channel straight to the DJ yourself. So you think is the thinking kind of like somebody else who's kind of works with you, whether it's your manager or something like that, could be a moderator at the same time?
Yeah, exactly. So you can just focus on DJing or doing whatever, and if somebody
Yeah.
comes in and starts spouting off something, you can just take them off real quick.
Yeah. So we actually have that functionality for Mixcloud staff right now. But I think that's a good idea to add it for potentially other people who you could nominate as well.
Gotcha. Yeah, because there's one right now in here. Somebody's posted 3 different times, and my mods would have already removed them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I know there was a question from Mixcloud. Okay. Noah says, I am on a newer iPad Pro as a general listener. Why does Mixcloud always get my iPad hot and crashes it?
I don't know the answer to that question. I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. You
Hard
might
to
want to
answer.
check what else is running in the back end there.
Yeah.
Also, George E asks, will you be offering a cheaper monthly stream package, either free or $10 under, for a few hours? So maybe that's the
Yeah.
one where you get, 10 hours for the month or something like that.
Exactly. So what we've been thinking is like maybe there is maybe you get X hours a month for free to live stream, and then if you want to do more, then you can upgrade. Yeah, I think that's something we're looking into.
Gotcha. And then what is your bit rate and like in your video quality max? What can we output to?
So on the video side, we do 720 right now. We're looking at whether 1080 makes sense. On the audio side, we've went for like the highest of any platform. So we support 320 kilobytes per second on the audio side.
Really?
Yeah. So if you have good speakers at home, you can definitely hear the difference. And it's always sweet to see that when we're in the chat room and people are talking about the audio quality. And that's another perfect example of like us being focused on music and audio and really building things specific for this community.
Yeah, that's impressive. And it's funny because I was testing out, I was going back and forth with, who's it going? Oh, with Jazzy Jeff today. And just kind of trying to test. I was in my car, like, can you hear a difference? But then I realized that unless you're outputting the audio to 320, it doesn't matter. It's all going to be the same. So if they're choosing 160 or 192, that's all that's going to pass through all of them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So curiously,
yeah, you got to choose 320 on the output. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I didn't know that. I'll have to try that out. Interesting. Okay. That's great. Diamond Lee asks, what do you see with Play TV as more of a rival or like a partner to kind of usher in this new legal streaming, umbrella that we're all trying to get under?
I don't know too much about Play TV, to be really honest. I haven't really investigated it too much. Yeah. Sorry, I can't answer the question more than that.
It's okay. I've talked to them. They're fine. I think they're a little bit in the same boat that you are. I talked to them probably in, I don't know, May or June, and I'm still supposed to be testing the site. But as I was talking to them, this was like after I was on Twitch for a while, and I'm like, okay, well, can you do this? Can you do that? Can you do this? And it's coming, it's coming. Like, okay. And I remember thinking the same thing. It's probably the same thing that a lot of people are thinking, you know, even on the stream right now. Like, okay, it's coming, but when is it coming? And until it comes, I don't want to test the system. You know what I mean? Like, and I think that's probably, I think I am like a good litmus test for the real world. Like, I don't want you to tell me it's coming. If I'm already on Mixcloud or on a platform and it's coming, different story. But if you want me to go and use a platform and you don't have the things I need, I'm not gonna rush over there. It doesn't make sense, you know, especially considering that for both of you guys, there is a payment element, you know, and so the moment there becomes a payment element, you have to start questioning, like, is this worth my $15 or $20 or whatever they're charging? So yeah, I mean, so this is, again, this is why we're having this stream right now, because we want to tell people why they should do things like this. And for clarification, for everybody that maybe came in late, there is a 1 month free trial. So you can go on to Mixcloud, you can try it out, see if you like it before you even decide to pay the $15 a month, which is funny because I think that the Twitch DJ community would bend over backwards if Twitch offered them a $15 a month licensing deal. Like, it's really cheap, and we know it's not going to be that cheap if it comes to Twitch. So we have to look at the people that are in our corner, you know. So which is why I have you on here. That's why, one of the reasons why I needed to have you on here today.
Right. And I realize that, you know, it may seem like it's a lot to pay to, you know, just to go live streaming, but again, just to kind of reiterate, maybe if somebody's just joined the stream, you know, that money goes to supporting the servers, the bandwidth, the copyright royalties, the systems that we have to put in place, like the audio fingerprinter. All of that takes time, effort, energy, and money to run. And it means that ultimately, again, it's about having a safe foundation and a safe space, which, you know, you can rely on and is going to be here, you know, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years from now.
Gotcha. So Tynus asks, it wasn't clear enough before. Is there a way to instantly send an email link to people? Like, say you go live, hit it, and then it sends out a blanket email to everybody.
Yeah, so notifications is something that we've built. I think it's in Android right now, but we've got to build in notifications with iOS and email as well. The thing about email is, like, it doesn't necessarily reach people in time, if that makes sense.
Right, because it sends it out in packets.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think the kind of mobile phone app notification is probably the quickest way. The other quickest way, like I mentioned kind of earlier in the show, is kind of notifying your Instagram and Facebook followers. So that's something we're working about as well.
Oh, that would be great. What would also be great, and I know actually this is something that Play DJs is one of their things, is that you can, because right now you have your single stream, but there's no way, or maybe you're going to support it in the future, of having multiple streams. So if you want to stream to other things using your Mixcloud as your main platform. But what they do is they can send out a stream with video only, no audio. So then that way, if, say, for instance, you are streaming to Facebook, maybe it sends a link, and then Facebook will naturally populate the link, and it's your video, but there's no audio until you click on the video, and then it opens up Mixcloud, and now you have audio. So I thought that was a really, really cool thing, because then you can continue to post to all of these sites and not worry about getting kicked off.
Yeah. So
anyway,
we're yeah, that's basically the thinking as well, because ultimately, like, yeah, you don't want it to be, you know, triggering takedowns or mutings or anything like that.
TLM, I'm just going to answer this because I think you relate to this. Mixcloud will not add video replays because it requires another license, another sync license for every song in your mix. So no, there will only be audio replays for any DJ related stuff. So did I get it right? Did I answer it correctly?
Spot on.
Perfect. Okay, so let's make sure we're going to keep you on for a couple more minutes and then we'll get off. I am looking for more questions to see if anybody else has any more questions. Let's see here. I think there was another one on Mixcloud. I guess this is just a listener. It said, how come Mixcloud listeners who pay the there's a $7.99 a month plan too?
For listeners, yeah.
And what does that offer?
So the $7.99 premium plan is basically a site-wide subscription, removes all ads, gives you the ability to rewind, have full interactivity, listen to whatever you want. And coming next year, the ability to download mixes and shows that are not exclusive. So if you as a DJ have a channel, you turn on select and you make something exclusive, that will only be available to your channel subscribers.
Okay, so the $7.99 gives you global access, basically.
Yeah.
And then you have your specific ones too. But the ability to rewind is huge.
Yeah.
Like it's one of my most frustrating things when I'm on the app. Like, oh, I wonder, like, especially me, because like, you play your own mixes and then you want to hear them and you want to go back and hear them again. You're like, oh, I can't go back. Does the same thing apply to anybody paying for the $2.99 subscription for you specifically? Can they rewind?
Yes.
Or is it...
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
So if you're subscribed to channel and you're supporting and you're paying that $2.99, you can rewind, you can download, you have full access to everything on that channel.
Gotcha. Let's see. DJ Cortez just asks, do you have a specific time that you're going to release another big update? So maybe it's like, okay, in January, we're going to release Mixcloud 2.0 and June, we're doing this one. Like, is there anything close to that?
Yeah, I guess it's hard to say like big updates. I think the next things coming that I can say are coming, before the end of the year, we're going to get out that feedback dashboard, which will let you know if you've got the right stream settings going on in your stream.
Gotcha.
Early next year, we're going to be rolling out tips and donations as a feature. And then probably like end of Q1 or so next year, we're going to do custom emojis. And then after that, or around the same time, thinking about like that, how do we increase that interactivity? How do we make it more like a virtual dance floor? How do we kind of bring the crowd community aspect of it all together?
Gotcha. So I'm a little confused at the app because I'm actually on the app right now. And on the app, you got your, I guess I want to say your top people. So John Digweed has 7,000 people. I believe this is a total and not an accumulation. I mean, I believe it's a live number. What is actually on the top on the discovery page? Let me show you what I'm saying.
On the lives page?
On this page right here.
Yeah, so that page right now, that at the top is the featured events. So those are, I think I mentioned it kind of midway through. We're starting to do some ticketed live streams. So those ones at the top are all ticketed live streams. So we've got, let's see who we've got at the moment. Yeah, we've got John Digweed, who's doing a New Year's Eve show. We've got a kind of house DJ called Leon Vinehall, who's doing a show next week. We don't have it here right now, but Red Bull are doing a show with Caliucci the next couple of weeks as well. Dub Lab is a radio station from LA. They're doing a show in New Year's as well. And so, yeah, so the ones at the top are the featured ones that we know definitively are happening sometime in the future.
Gotcha. So the number that's on it, there's an eyeball and 6.8K. what does that number represent?
That is the number of people who have viewed that
Viewed it.
page. Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah.
so then what I would suggest, in all honesty, is
Yeah.
is switching out the number to who's actually on versus who's viewed it,
Yeah.
because
Yeah. Yeah.
it confuses a lot of people that come from other platforms. So
Yeah.
yeah, switch that to whatever is actually happening, and then maybe potentially that would allow for people that are actually having larger numbers to show up, because I don't. It says sort by trending. So under trending, and what are the other options to sort by? Popular, most recent. But the sort doesn't look like, it's not really high to low. So for instance, I have this person with 36 eyes, 34, then 62, then 121, 241. Is it low? And then 56 again. So I guess that's one of the questions that people, have, is like, how am I supposed to be found on
Yeah.
here? Because I can't find a pattern.
Yeah. So to explain it, so you can sort 3 ways. Most recent, that's obvious, like whoever went live most recent. Popular shows who has had the total most number of viewers since they've started. It's an absolute number. So for
Okay.
people who started streaming, we've got some radio stations on here who started streaming like weeks ago. So they are going to have huge numbers because
Sure.
they've been streaming for a long time. Trending takes into account when you started. So it's an algorithm that looks at how many people are viewing, how many people viewed in total, and when you started. And that way, it means that those radio stations that have been streaming for like 3 weeks, they've had a ton of people kind of tune in total,
Right.
but not necessarily in the last hour. So trending takes that into account.
Okay. And then the most recent is just the most recent. So you don't actually have one. So you need another filter. You need a filter for most.
Most viewed right now is
Yes.
what you're saying.
Yeah, that's what you need.
Yeah.
Because I don't mind having multiples as long as I can switch to it.
Yeah. Most viewers right now. Yeah. No, that's good. That's good feedback.
Yeah. And there is one more feedback, and I didn't say it, but somebody did bring it up, and they said, how come I'm paying for the premium streaming package, but yet I can't rewind my own music? Like, how come I'm not included in the $7.99 thing? Like, I'm gonna have to pay $15 and then $7.99. Is there are you considering either maybe having a slightly higher platform? Maybe it's $18.99 or $19.99, which gives us as creators for your platform the ability to have all of the things, all the tools to our disposal.
Yeah, it's a good question. Honestly, okay, we haven't built that yet because we didn't think that many people would want to listen to their own radio shows and DJ mixes. But it sounds like that is something that people are requesting. We can definitely do it on your own stuff. We can't do it on other people's mixes and radio shows because that's a different package. But we might be able to do like I like that idea of like combining them and doing like a discounted bundle.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I think it would help, because also, even though you have fees to pay and bills to pay, and we're paying into you and we're trying to generate money. Obviously, without the DJs, there is no Mixcloud. And as a DJ creator who's actually wanting to provide more content for your platform, it just feels like kind of the right thing to do. It's because it's like, I'm sure that most people aren't going to even be utilizing it as much, but the more people are on, then they can start telling people, and hey, this is a great thing. It's only this much, and you get all of these things too. So now it becomes kind of a no-brainer with just paying the fee, because you're also getting Mixcloud Premium to go along with it.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's see. Kid Cut Up says, internet has ruined creativity by only valuing the number attached to it, not the content itself. He's not wrong. He's not wrong.
Yeah.
You know, but that's what people need. What are your numbers? That's what everybody
Yeah.
asks. You know, how many
Yeah.
people you're bringing to the club? That's the place we live in.
Yeah.
Okay, couple more questions and then we'll let you go. I'm sure you are a very busy man. Let's see here. Oh, it's a couple of personal questions. First off, are you still DJing? That's the first question they asked. And how did you get into music?
Yeah, good questions. Yeah, yes, I'm DJ, still DJing to this day. If you want to listen to my mixes, they're on mixcloud.com/Rez. That's REZ.
Okay.
How did I get into music? When I was I think it was about 12 or 13, for my birthday, I got a stereo, got gifted it's called a boombox. And I basically like fell in love with this radio station. I used to live in Brussels, in Belgium. I fell in love with a radio station called Radio Action. They used to play like old school 90s hip hop. And that basically like opened my eyes to music. And from that point on till I think it was 19 when I got my first decks. Like from the age of like 12 to 19, I just wanted to have turntables so bad, but I could like never afford them. Worked all summer, saved up all the money, got some turntables when I was 19. Used to collect records, switched to Serato back in the day. And yeah, I guess it's all because of that birthday gift of getting a stereo system back in the day. So that's how I got into it.
Gotcha. No, that's great. It's funny that you mentioned Serato, because that would be. Let me put you on here. Is that correct?
Nice.
REZ?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, thank you.
Perfect. Yeah, because now that Serato has their own little streaming audio plugin, which is it's not theirs, but it's iShow, that allows you to stream to any internal application. Having something similar to that, and then a camera module, I think. Hey, I think I'm onto something. And if you do it, I'm sending you a bill. I'm just saying. I think that's what we need to do. And so you're a hip hop guy. That's what you do.
Yeah. I mean, my first love was hip hop. When I got to college and stuff, I listened to like reggae, dance hall, disco, house music. Kind of brought in from there, but like, yeah, definitely hip hop was my first love.
Gotcha. And what was it? 90s, 80s? What did you fall in love with?
90s. Yeah. I was like a Tribe Called Quest, Wu-Tang,
East Coast.
like East Coast.
Like
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. That was my jam. I used to listen to the Beat Junkies. I mean, still listen to the Beat Junkies.
Yeah.
DJ Premier, Gangstar, like all that stuff. Yeah.
Gotcha. No, that's fantastic. Yeah, people are like, okay, I'm with you now. It's like, all I needed. You should have started with that.
I should have said that. Yeah. No, it's cool. I mean, it's been really awesome because like I have been fortunate to meet like some of my heroes along the way. So I met people like Jazzy Jeff, people like Q-Tip, DJ Premier over the years, kind of working on this, and that's also like just a kind of awesome feeling because these are the people who, growing up, I used to listen to. So yeah, it's a good part of the job.
Perfect. I think we can end it on that. Let's end on a high note.
All right. Sounds good.
Hip hop fan. Hey, so ladies and gentlemen, I need you guys to put the wake up emote if you got it in there. Throw that in the chat right now to show some support for my man Nico. If you don't have that, hit the ones. I can't raid you today, Perez. I already made a promise to tweak. I have to raid a super low dude today. I'm sorry. I would raid you. You know me. That's my partner. We'll check one too. The DJ company together. So throw my emotes in. See, I just put that emote in. See, we got to get those emotes in. That's really important to people. Sounds petty, sounds silly, but emotes are important to people.
For sure. Thank you guys for listening. I really appreciate all the questions. It's been really good.
Thank you, man. Honestly, thank you for coming on today. I know you're busy. I know we've been kind of playing phone tag here, and I appreciate you coming on. So we'll have to
No
get you
problem.
back on again.
Yeah,
next
let's
time-
do this. Let's do this again in like, sometime early next year, and
Yeah.
hopefully I will have a lot more to report back on by that
There you go.
time.
Yeah, just email me like, okay, I'm good. Let's
do it
2.0 is
again.
coming out right now. I'm like, let's get you on tomorrow.
All right. Sounds good, man.
Perfect. All right. Thanks a lot, pal. Appreciate you. All right. We'll
All
see
right.
you soon.
Take care.
All right.
Thank you, everybody, for listening.
Sure.
All right.
All right. We're going to sign off Nico. And guys, what do you think? What do you think about that stream? I think that was absolutely fantastic. Woo. Woo. Long day, right? Long day. So let me know in the chat, guys. Before we raid the next person, let me know in the chat what your feelings on that. Did he sound sincere? Do you feel like it's something you guys could get behind? Because I know what I feel. But I want you guys to post it in the chat what you feel, because I think that's important. I have no idea what get out means. This is actually a very interesting statement. I think it's tinus. I'm going to tell you this right now, as a company, as an owner of a company, of a small business, it is more important for you to know the ins and outs of your business more than anybody you bring in. Anybody you bring in should only be there to supplement what you could do on your own if you needed to. But they're there to come in and provide you with a little space in order to be able to continue to do what you do, which is build a company and make more money doing it. But if that person is no longer there, that person quits, doesn't want to do it anymore, you as a company owner should be able to walk over there and say, I can take care of this. I can do it because I know everything about my business. And it feels like Nico is one of those guys. Nico understands his business, especially from a legal standpoint. So he is protected in the event that anything happens. So if you are thinking about being any type of an owner, understand that. Know everything. Don't become an owner and be like, okay, I'm an owner now, and let me hire everybody to do these jobs that I should know how to do. Doesn't work. It's a recipe for failure. All right. As Jay says, especially because I've been using Mixcloud more than Twitch, and now I'm trying to incorporate both. Yeah, same with me. I've been streaming back again to Mixcloud again. DJ ICI's great interview. Thank you so much. Dr. Giovanna says, I know nothing about licensing. Twitch might have to give DJ some information on this issue. I can give you some information on this issue. They know about licensing. They just don't want to pay for it. That's the key. They don't necessarily, and they might be doing it on the back end. They might be trying to provide things, but from a bird's eye view, it's really hard to not know because they've had Twitch and music has been an issue with gamers since the beginning. So they're fully aware of the licensing required to run their business. They just don't agree with it. As strange as that sounds. DJ, I think it's May 6 says you just got to give them time and perfect. In session like this, DJ's input are crucial. Yes, listening to DJs is so important. Nobody in here. Yeah, it's so important. I think that's also the mark of a good businessman, to be able to listen to people, take what they have to say, and move on. DJ Audio 1 says, prepare now for the inevitable before it's too late. You're not wrong, man. You're not wrong. Just put it in place. It's already there. Just start streaming to it, getting your following. You will start to slowly develop a following just because you're on, that people will slowly start to see you, and then maybe you'll start to build a natural Mixcloud. And then once you want to make the final move over from Twitch or Facebook or YouTube, then you're just working on getting the rest of your people. All right. Nation says, what I like about Nico and Mixcloud is at the very least, it feels like as DJs, we have a seat at the table. Agreed. And now that I know that he's a DJ himself and he's a hip hop DJ, I trust him now. I trust him. O'Connor says, Mixcloud is working to legitimize online DJ streams. They got me on X-Files flight now, I want to believe. Yes. DJ C Good says, if you build it, they will come. 100%. Chanel says, greatly impressed. Yeah, I think so. Anyway, okay. Oh, Kid Cut Up is like, he's kind of a marketing genius. I mean, in all honesty, like the things that he puts together, I'm always impressed by. And he's like Mixcloud with Mixcloud. He's already got their tagline. I'm impressed by him too. You never know what you're gonna get with people. So I'm really glad that he was not only inviting and available, but he understands what his business is. He understands that there are issues that he has to fix. You know, he's not trying to play the blame game or do any of that stuff. It's just, this is what we're working on. We know we need to do these things. We want to do these things because we want to improve it and get people onto this platform. Look, there are still a lot of people on the Mixcloud platform, okay? So it's not like they're dead in the water. But obviously, if you look at Twitch and you look at the music section, the amount of DJs that are on there, if them moving over to Mixcloud, it would be huge. And the funny thing is, I'm curious to know how many DJs are actually DJing to Mixcloud while being on Twitch right now. Because is it the case that a lot of DJs will just turn off Twitch because they've already been on Mixcloud? Or we're going to see like an actual spike in numbers from people moving from Twitch to Mixcloud? I'm curious. Leave in the chat if you are a Mixcloud subscriber, premium subscriber right now. Not premium, but a streaming subscriber. Leave it in the chat right now. You'll be fine, kings and queen. Jay Styles, DJ TLM every time. Our business. Thank you so much. Hey, it's okay to have multiple faces here. You know, you got the super marketing, and then hey, you know what? Screw them people. I don't need them. Okay. Shortcut. Hey man, it was my pleasure. Hey, you had me at Dilla. You had me at Dilla. The moment you said playing Dilla all night, I'm on the channel. The next time you say playing Dilla all night, I'm on the channel. Also, Shortcut, I'm gonna get you on here, pal. I want to get you on here. So let's talk. Okay. Last thing. Let's make sure we got everybody in here. Yeah, I think people need to understand this. This is so true. We as DJs need to understand that we have a lot more power than we think. And when it comes to streaming, when it comes to this whole quarantine situation, we as DJs have been educated. So we understand, what we need. We understand more legal issues than we care to admit. And if we all decide as a group, okay, because we are pretty much a community here, that we are going to move over to Mixcloud once it's where it needs to be and fully commit, I think we could do that easily. I think legitimately we can move everybody over. Because for the most part, the only reason why all of your subscribers, meaning DJs and or people that just come to watch you are on Mixcloud or on Twitch is because all the DJs are on Twitch. But if we tell people we're now on Mixcloud, I think they will come with us. Because the ones that came to Twitch are the open-minded ones. They'll go wherever we need them to go. Okay? The ones that can't get off IG or Facebook, they're not coming to Twitch. They're not coming to Mixcloud, so just let them go. All right. And then you don't have to think about being a partner. You don't have to make that your sole issue in life, your sole goal. As Kid Cut Up would say, hey man, your numbers are fine. Why do you need to even go? Why do you even need to be partner? He's not wrong. He's not wrong. Yeah, shortcut. I think it'll be faster. Honestly, I think the first step was getting them to download an app that they didn't know about and then go to Twitch. Now that they've downloaded that app, I think it would be just as easy to say, all right, guys, now download the Mixcloud app because that's where we have to go. So I think it's going to be a little easier this time. And we do have the ability to see the writing on the wall, so we can make those moves if necessary. You know, we can start pushing people over to Mixcloud as we go if it seems like Twitch is starting to DMCA us a lot and not just sending us emails, but actually turning off our streams. So, yeah. Now with Mixcloud. Yeah, that was the first step. That's why I originally even went to Mixcloud. Well before streaming, it was because SoundCloud was deleting mixes. Not turning mixes off, deleting mixes. That's huge. So, hey, you know, that's why I was on. I predict Mixcloud will sell to Amazon. I have a hard time believing that. I have a hard time believing that Amazon even wants to buy Mixcloud, even if that was an option. So Amazon, again, understand, super small entity, 1.8% of Twitch, but yet we want Amazon to potentially pay over market because they need us. I don't think that's happening. I think the reality is we're just going to have to leave at some point. That's reality. All right, Mr. Soul Fabulous, as an older DJ who used to tell people what was good while playing the clubs, it shouldn't be a problem moving your followers. Yeah, I agree. Okay. I think we are good. Now we need to find, because I promised that we would do this, so now we need to find a super small streamer. 559 Juice, hello. I got to make sure that I talk to the Mixcloud people now. Can't just ignore them now. DJ Hawaii, because Amazon doesn't care. That's it. Amazon does not care. Okay, so let's see who we want to raid out of here. All right. It's 2:00, so we know people are on. Does anybody have anybody that they recommend that is has low numbers? Because we could raid MC2J Man. Who else we got here? They got to have low numbers. That was the agreement. All right. Let's see here. DJ Nestor Cruz has 19 so far. Let me know, people. Let me know. I see Zaldi on with 8. Zaldi is not really small though. You know, Zaldi's going to end up. Oh, Danger Zone's on? Okay. Unless he gets raided by Angie V, which I don't think so now. Yeah, we all know Mojax is going to end up with 75 in about 20 minutes. I think Danger Zone is probably the best choice. Yeah. DJ Technique. DJ Technique, DJ Kenny K, DJ, what is it, LS New York? Those people aren't popping up for me, so. All right, Ellis Sync. All right, let's see if the numbers have gone up more. Because if we are at 10, and Danger's still at 10, what's Danger playing? Hold on. Damn commercials. Oh, Angie already rated. Okay. Good. Like legitimately, I could have one person. Little Fever we've rated before. It's either going to be Kenny K or Danger Zone, but I want to hear what Danger Zone's playing right now. All right, let's see what we got here. All right, we got some house music going on, some vibes. Okay. All right, we're gonna hold him on, and we're just gonna check. Okay, real quick. Okay, so Kenny K is playing the same vibe. Kenny K has 9. I think we're doing Kenny K. Let's do Kenny K. All right, let's set this rate up. Everybody hang on while we set this rate up. Actually, mods, do me a favor. Check on both of them. Check on how long they're going to be on. Check on Kenny K and check on Danger Zone. And while we're doing that, by the way, while we're waiting for that, if you guys haven't checked my latest video, I did a quick and easy 5-minute video on on how to record your live streams. If you're streaming music from like Tidal or Spotify or, you know, BeatSource or SoundCloud, and you can't record using the Serato default recorder, there's a quick 5-minute video on how you can do that without having to have an external recorder, without having to pay any more money than you're already using. And it's all for free, just using what's already built into your computer. So make sure you check that video out. Super easy. It's like 5 minutes long, honestly. Mr. Soul, the time at 12 o'clock is permanent on Wednesdays now. DJ Chris Craze, you say that like that's normal. Most people only go on for like an hour or two. It's only you and Audio One and you crazy people that do 3 to 4 hours. Do we have a hype train? We do not have a hype train. Oh no. Okay. All right, I'm just make sure I'm checking Danger Zone. I want to make sure that the numbers are legitimate. Oh, they're equal. Since they're equal, let's raid Danger. That's my boy. Let's raid him. 16 people, that's enough. All right, let's raid him. I'm doing a veto here. Yeah, 10 people. Okay, let's start this raid up. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I will be on tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be more tech talk. So if you want to hang out for some tech talk, that's tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning at 9:30. 9:30 tech talk with me. Hope you can enjoy it. Hope you can hang out with me. And let's get this raid started. I probably you, but you never know. All right, y'all. We're gonna. I don't see a hype train, so that's okay. All right, let's hit up Danger. Make sure he knows where you're coming from. Make sure you throw my emotes on there. Those are the Wake Up in Cleveland emotes. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. We will see you tomorrow. Enjoy your Wednesday afternoon. Happy Hump Day. Let's roll. For everybody else, always a pleasure. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Peace out.